morning, friends. I thought we could talk while I do some morning stuff. Working from home today because I am monitoring our youngest cat. He was at the vet last week and I just want to make sure that he is good. Let's talk about what I read that I didn't wrap up last week. So I read Spy X Volume 9. I gave this 4 stars. I am still enjoying this series. It's about a guy who's a spy. He has to have a fake family. He accidentally adopts a kid who can read minds, and then he has a marriage of convenience with a woman who is an assassin. He's a spy, and I'm enjoying it, but it's getting quite repetitive and episodic, so I'm hoping that it gets better. But it was better than the last one, which I gave 3 stars. And then I did end up finishing Lolita. This is pretty short. I think it's like 315 pages. If you don't know, this is following a guy who is writing letters to a jury after he has committed a crime. His name is Humbert, and he was abusing his stepdaughter. In the beginning, he basically admits that he has an attraction to 8 to 14-year-olds, and he falls in love with Lolita, which is not even her name, who's 12, and he marries her mom, and then her mom dies, and then they go on this like adventure together or whatever, and he's writing letters to a jury later on for a crime, and it's something. Humbert is a disgusting character. I don't understand the people that relate to him, or not necessarily relate, but think that Lolita like seduced him in some way. He doesn't even call her by her name. Her name is not Lolita, it's Dolores, and she's very much a 12-year-old. She's described by him as a 12-year-old. He calls girls nymphets, and that's basically like attractive young girls, like girls who have this like special energy, like the seductive energy around them, and they seduce men. And like, it's interesting to read his point of view because I think a lot of it is written, half is written very like remorseful, and half is written with no blame being taken by Humbert for what he did. And so he very much pushes the blame on nymphets and Dolores the entire time, and he describes her as a child, but you never really understand like her point of view because he doesn't view her as a person. And so I think that this is written well for what you would imagine being in a narcissistic pedophile's point of view would be like, and I think it does the job that the author is trying to do well. From what I gather, he writes stories like this from point of view of like the villain, and they always end up getting like their comeuppance in the end. People that say that he was seduced is a little fucking weird to me, because like 3 pages in he says that he's into girls that are 8 to 14, so I don't know about that, but yeah, it's disturbing for sure. I will say there's a portion of this where like 80 to 90 pages, mind you this book is only 315 pages, is just a recap of all of the cities and places that they see over and over and over again. So like there's a year of this where they're traveling, and he just talks about the places that they've traveled, and it's not the most interesting. And so I would say like the first third and the last third are the meat of the story, and then that middle bit is kind of boring. But I will say it's well done for what the author is trying to go for, and I think anybody who apologizes or makes excuses for Humbert, you need to reevaluate yourself, because he's very clearly a pedophile. He's written as such, and I don't know how you could be deceived in any way. Like, it's written well, but anybody with, I feel like, 2 brain cells would be able to see through it. That is Lolita. I don't necessarily know if I would recommend it, just because of that middle bit. It is quite hard to get through. If you're interested in the story, I would say maybe pick it up, but know that like that middle bit is just very hard to read. But that is that. And then I am currently reading some books that we'll talk about once I do my skin stuff. So I changed up my skincare a little bit from the last video that I did because the product that I was using was burning my skin or something. So I went back to using the moisturizer that I was using before, which is the Pond's daily facial cream for like skin sensitivity. My partner has rosacea and he uses this, and so I use it as well. And then I hit my eyes with Beauty by Earth Coffee Bean Eye Cream. And then I'm going to go in with the Sky High Lash Sensational Maybelline New York. And then that is that. I am feeling fine. I did have a nice weekend. I was hoping today that we would be able to get outside and read a little bit, because since I started doing that last week, I have just been feeling amazing. It's just really made me feel really rejuvenated and really relaxed. I've been going out there and reading, and it's just been like a lovely experience, and I've been really enjoying my time out there. But it is quite gloomy today, and it looks like it's gonna storm, so I don't know if we're gonna be able to go out there today, which is fine. Today I don't really have a whole lot going on. I think I'm going to try to knock out some of the books that I'm currently reading, and that's gonna be like my priority for the day. We are, like I said, monitoring our youngest Bane. He had to go to the vet's office, get some medicine, and I just want to make sure that he's alright. So I am currently reading Restore Me. It is a romance that I was reading last week that I just didn't get a chance to finish. I am, I think, almost 50% of the way through it at this point, and it is with a woman and her deceased husband's best friend, and it's incredibly tension filled. I'm really enjoying it. It's very good so far, and like the sexual tension is absolutely wild, so I'm definitely enjoying that. And then I am 170 pages into The Devil in Winter. This is the 3rd book in the Wallflower series, and it is about Evie and Sebastian St. Vincent, arguably everybody's favorite hero of this series, and I was excited to get to his book. I didn't know how Lisa Kleypas was going to redeem him, given how the last book ended, but she has done a good job. I am sort of feeling a little bit like there is some character work that needs to be done, just because I don't quite understand at this point the like love they have for each other. They haven't said that, but like St. Vincent is like obsessed with her, which I love. But to get to like a happily ever after, I'm maybe gonna have to see more work. But basically the situation is that Evie was in a bad situation with her mother's family. Her mother passed away, and her father was a boxer, and like he owned a gambling den, and her mother was like part of the peerage. And so when she passed away, her father gave custody of her to her mother's family, and they kind of took advantage of her. They locked her away, they abused her for a really long time, and now that she's an adult and set to come into an inheritance. They want to marry her to her cousin on her mom's side to keep the money within the family. They had locked her up in her room. They weren't feeding her, and they were like just generally abusing her. And so she goes to Sebastian St. Vincent, who up to this point has been sort of a villain in the story, just after the events of the last one, the last book, which I won't, you know, spoil, but he's sort of been on everybody's shit list. He's a notorious rake, and he just generally is one of those people that just like looks out for himself. He is not a duke, what are they called? Not a marquess, a viscount. And he is basically just like waiting for his father to die, but his father has used all of their wealth. So he is trying to get out of that, and he needs to marry someone. Evie obviously has a fortune. She comes to him at the beginning of the book and says, marry me, you can have my fortune, and it'll get me away from my family. And so they have a marriage of convenience. At this point in the book, they're staying at her father's gambling den because he has an illness, and she's taking care of him. He just passed away, and she is now going to inherit the gambling den, and Sebastian wants to take it over. And so that's kind of where we're at right now with that one. It has the typical like Lisa Kleypas feelings, and it's all very tension filled and all of that, very dreamy. But I haven't loved this Wallflower series the most out of all of the ones that I've read so far. So I'm familiar enough with her stories, and this one's not my absolute favorite. This series is my absolute favorite. That's kind of currently what I'm reading, and that is my face done. This week I don't really have a whole lot going on. I have a fundraiser this weekend on Sunday with my work that I will be doing the majority of the day. Other than that, I don't really have a whole lot going on this week, and I'm kind of just gonna hang out and chill. I have to work the rest of the week. Obviously I'm off today. I haven't had my breakfast or my coffee or anything for the day, so I'm gonna do that. And then it is 8:30, so at 9:15ish we're gonna go into my office and get ready for the day. That is the deal. I am not wearing anything crazy for the day. I'm wearing this pendant that I got for my birthday, these little crescent moon earrings. I'm wearing a dress. When I'm at work, or when I'm at home, I like to wear dresses, overly long shirts, things like that, because I find that I have like some sensory issues with pants for some reason. Specifically at home, I like to just have my legs out. And then I'm wearing this flannel because it's quite chilly. It was my grandfather's, and yeah, yesterday was the 1 year of his passing, so it's been quite a I don't know, emotional time, I guess. Rough time just thinking about all of it. But yeah, so that is the outfit. That is the situation for the day. I'm gonna go make my coffee and have my breakfast, and we're gonna get into the day. Bean. struggling this morning. Good morning. Let's talk while I pick out my clothes and get ready for the day. It is Wednesday. So yesterday was really tough and I know why, I think I know why, but it just sucks because I went up in dosage on my Prozac, and it's making me so sleepy. Like, I was fine all day, and then I got home from work and I was just fucking exhausted, and I didn't want to do anything. I didn't want to be on camera. I didn't want to read. I didn't want to do anything. So I literally sat in my bed, watched Twitch, and then I sort of like made myself get out of bed, and I went outside and I read for a little bit, and like that helped, but I was just so tired and it was tough. It felt like mid PMDD tired, which is like a whole other level of tired. And yeah, so now I'm feeling a little bit better. I won't know until I actually like have gone to work and get home and all that, how I'm actually doing, but I'm feeling better. Still not feeling like the best, but it's fine. So today I am wearing these sweatpants that I got from Hello Lovely Box when I was a rep for them. They have this little logo on it. I've shown them before. And then I am wearing this red shirt. Okay, while I'm waiting for my oatmeal to make, Bane is absolutely losing his mind, let's talk about the things that I finished / are currently reading. So first up, I finished Devil in Winter. Yesterday, I ended up giving this 4 stars like I gave all of the books in this series. Really like this series. All of the heroes are very like swoony and obsessive, quite like most of Lisa Kleypas's heroes. I had heard that Sebastian St. Vincent was like the swooniest in this series, and he definitely is the most obsessed, and I will agree with that. I don't necessarily love the plot points in this. Like, she does a lot of like really dramatic scenes where like there's multiple like stabbing attempts, there's multiple death attempts, like assassination attempts, like a building gets blown up, things like that, and that's just not my favorite, which means that I likely won't give any books in the series 5 stars, just because that's not like my perfect story. But I did really enjoy Sebastian. He's very obsessive, and he's like obsessed with taking care of Evie, which is lovely, and I really enjoyed it. And then I also finished Restore Me, which I ended up giving 5 stars. I really liked this. The chemistry between the characters was absolutely off the charts. I haven't enjoyed a romance, just like a straight romance with no other subplots or anything, in a while. And I really loved this. So this is about a woman and her deceased husband's best friend. He has always been pining for her. They had like a chance encounter in college, and then he realized that his best friend is dating her, and he sort of backed off, and so he sort of started this antagonistic relationship with her. Meanwhile, he's like in love with her, and like she's like the one woman for him or whatever. And now her husband has passed away. It's about 4 years after he's passed, and they're forced to work on a construction job together. And It's deliciously swoony. The chemistry is absolutely off the charts, and the writing is amazing. The tension, the build-up was fantastic. They didn't actually have sex until about 70% of the way through the book, and you saw a lot of the like deep emotional work that the characters were doing together. A lot of things were addressed in the latter half of the book that sort of made me believe that they could actually work together. And like I said, obsessive pining hero. So if you're a fan of obsessive heroes, like he's 100% for you. Like 12 years he's been obsessed with this woman, and he notices everything about her, and it's just lovely, amazing, fantastic, 5 stars, adored it. And then I also started Scandal in Spring. So this is the last book in the Wallflower series, and this is about Daisy and Matthew. I am only 87 pages in, but this is about Daisy, who's the last Wallflower without a husband, and she is the youngest. And she's sort of the wild child from this rich New York family, and they are trying to find, like, came to London to find husbands for their daughters, and her father has told her, if you don't find a husband in 2 weeks, then I'm going to marry you to Matthew, who is someone that is like an apprentice to their father, and they don't really like her, and her sister Lillian don't really like him. And then they are now at like a house party or whatever where they spend months there. And she has seen him again, and he's like completely different than she remembers. But she also has a thing for this guy named Cam, who I thought was going to be the hero of this book. He is an employee of Sebastian's. Sebastian took over his wife's father's gambling den in the past book, and he has like a right-hand man named Cam, and I thought that's who was going to be her hero because they had like a couple of kisses in the end of the last one, and she has mentioned having feelings for both of them at the same time. And obviously I know Matthew is her hero, who she's going to end up with, so I'm wondering why he was even included, maybe to create a little bit of drama, but I was sort of rooting for their relationship just from the interactions that they had, because Daisy is very fiery, and it seemed like Cam was also very fiery. So I'm interested to see how the rest of this goes. It's about the same length as all of the other ones. I'm anticipating like a 4-star, and I really just wanted to finish out the series. I really wanted to move on to a different series, but I want to finish this one first. And then I also started Serpent in the Wings of Night or something. This is a fantasy romance with vampires, and the main girl is like a human adoptee ward or whatever of the Vampire King. She has to enter into a tournament. I'm not very far in, but I wanted something fun to read. I don't know why my camera is focusing on my microwave, but yeah, those are the things I read. I'm gonna go eat my breakfast, and then I'm gonna go to work, and we're gonna talk later, hopefully. I will update you on if I'm tired or not. I think part of it is I'm stressing about Sunday, so I'm not good with that sort of thing. But yeah, so I'm gonna go eat my breakfast, and we're gonna talk later. Being a big boy. Good morning, friends. Happy Thursday. And today I'm feeling a lot better. Yesterday my mom came over, as you saw, to do her laundry. We had a lovely little reading session while she was here, and I ended up finishing Scandal in Spring. I liked this, but not enough to even really like go into depth. Like, it was fine. I don't have much to say. There's really low angst in the relationship, and the plot was fine. So yeah, but I am about 22% of the way through The Serpent in the Wings of Night. And I'm really enjoying it. We are into the tournament, and it's fun, it's interesting, it's compelling. The heroine is a human in a world of vampires, and she is like the daughter, the pseudo daughter, adopted daughter of the vampire king. He rescued her after a rebellion in another kingdom's city. Her entire family, she thinks, has been killed, and now he has sort of raised her and, you know, trained her and all that, and told her that if she competes in this tournament and wins, she'll get one wish from the goddess that created all the vampires. And the assumption is that the wish could be granted to make her and Vincent, her father, like bonded, and it would turn her to a vampire, but not while not having to actually go through the ceremony, because the like mortality rate is not great for humans that get turned. And so she's going through this tournament. I think we've met the love interest. I think his name is Rain. He is a vampire. There's like several different types of vampires, it seems, and the lore around the vampires is pretty interesting. They have wings. Some of them are more like bat wings, some of them are more like feathered wings, and there's a lot of like discourse among the different like kingdoms and stuff, which is pretty interesting, so I'm excited there. And this is pretty fast-paced so far. We haven't really had much downtime, which I'm enjoying. This is definitely very different from the other Carissa Broadbent book that I read. I liked that one enough, but this one is definitely more action-packed. So I am enjoying it. It's a ton of fun, and I'm excited to continue it and then go on to my next read, which I don't know what it's going to be, but I do want to finish this one before I start anything else. But other than that, like, I feel good. I was able to fight my exhaustion yesterday when I got home from work, which was great. And we read outside for a little bit, so that was lovely. And like, I feel fine. I'm very tired, but other than that, like, I'm not having too many bad feelings, and I'm hoping that that continues when I get home today. So right now I need to eat my breakfast and go to work, but I don't have anything like super intense or anything to report, so yeah, we'll talk later. morning, friends. Happy Friday. So my plans were ruined for the day as soon as I woke up because I was planning on cleaning the gutters and doing some outside yard work. And it's very rainy out today, so I think the plan is to do some cleaning around the house and do some prep for next week that I probably won't want to do after my fundraiser on Sunday. So prep lunches, that sort of thing. Let's talk about what I've been reading. So I got a little bit further into The Serpent and the Wings of Night, not much further. She has found some allies to partner up with in the tournament, but other than that, like, not much has happened. And then for some reason, when I was talking about how I wanted to start some new series, but I wanted to get through the Wallflowers first, the inkling that I had was to start my reread of the Shadowhunter Chronicles. So Mortal Instruments, TID, Dark Artifices, Last Hours. Not the short stories, not any of that, but just like the main stories. And so I was like trying to read The Serpent and the Wings of Night, and I was struggling. So I was like, you know what, I'm just gonna pick up City of Bones and I'm gonna read them together. Like, it's not that big of a deal. The reason I'm trying to get through so many Kindle books is because I canceled my, I don't know why, okay, I canceled my Kindle Unlimited subscription. So I have been, you know, trying to get through those books because I want to finish all of my owned books and then I'll go back to Kindle Unlimited. But because I'm just not using Kindle Unlimited and I need to get through what I already have. So I wanted to read some of the books that I'm like wanted to get to before my subscription ran out. But when I'm called to read something, it's hard to, you know, focus on other things because I just like sit there and think about how I could be reading this other thing. Usually as soon as I read it, that itch goes away. So I just started last night the City of Bones. This is what I was reading while I was outside. I got 78 pages in, and I have not reread the Mortal Instruments in a long time. It's not my favorite in the series. And then I think I'm probably going to be done with Cassie Clare books because I think she is writing something after the Dark Artifices series, but I think she might be writing starting another series outside of the Shadowhunters first, and I don't really have any interest in reading them. So if she ever comes back to the Shadowhunters world, I will read them, but if not, I'm not going to. So I am prioritizing this and The Serpent and the Wings of Night today after my cleaning. I don't know what is going on with the focus on my camera. I really apologize, but it is what it is. Yesterday, I went outside. It was a lovely time, and then I got the urge to reorganize my shelves again. Well, really just reorganize my office. So you guys saw in a previous clip what my office looks like, and I decided to change things up. So when you walk into my office, I originally had my desk like right here, and then my desk was right here, and then my shelves were against this wall. Hi, Luna. Hi, Bane. And I decided to go with this look because now that I'm not using this as a backdrop for like booktube videos, I like the way this looks better. I had it once set up like this and I didn't love it for the sake of like having it as a background, but I enjoy this look as that. So the plan is all of my books, my novels, go here. My manga is going to go there. As you can see, my manga collection is quite small, but that shelf right there is going to be manga series. That shelf is going to be just regular standalones. Most mangas obviously are series, but ones that I just get and I don't continue the series, or the series is quite short. As you can see, these are kind of long spanning series. I am going to put them over here. That is how the arrangement of my desk is. And then you can see I sort of have some like decor pieces that are more like Not really necessarily, like, I feel like you would find in a museum almost, so like plants, and then I have like these little bust statues, and then on my desk I have a bust, and then like a little banker's lamp that you would find at like a library, and then a candle, and that's sort of the motif that I'm going for. But I plan on, there is some photographs that Tamika, my best friend at Tamika Ray, took, that she is planning on doing prints for eventually, and I want to have them right here. Like the set is like my absolute favorite that she's done, and the collection is my absolute favorite that she's done, and I want to display them here. They don't 100% go with like the look that I have going on, but I still think, because my room is so like fun and there's like stuffed animals and stuff like that in here, I feel like it would look good with the plants and stuff like that. So that's gonna go along this wall. And then I think the room will be complete, and that is sort of the situation. So that is what I did yesterday, and I'm pretty happy with it. And then as soon as those prints come in, I will proudly display them, because my bestie is so talented and I want to be able to let everybody know how talented she is. So as soon as those prints become available, I will be hanging them right there, and then my room will be complete. I might eventually get something for this wall, but who knows. So yeah, right now I am going to start cleaning and then go from there. So we will talk a little bit later on. I might capture some cleaning. I might just put some headphones in and just like try to zone out. Who knows? But that is the update. We will talk later.
And I know exactly what you mean, so it's great. That's all I'm giving. It's a good answer. That's all I'm giving. All right. Well, who we have here? Yes.
Okay friends, as you can see, I have been enjoying a lovely, lovely Saturday outside. I got the gutters cleaned out, which I'm very proud of, and I've just been reading outside. That's pretty much what I've been doing all day. It is 4 o'clock now, and I think I'm gonna wrap up the vlog here. I have accomplished a lot this week as far as reading. I've done a lot of reading, a lot more than I have done recently, really. I feel like I'm back in my reading groove, which is fantastic. So let's talk about what I read. So I ended up finishing City of Bones last night. I actually stayed up pretty late reading this, which I haven't done in a while. I'm very happy that I decided to reread the series. I'm really enjoying my time with it. I don't know what I would rate this because it's really hard for me to be objective, but it's not my favorite in the Chronicles. It's probably my favorite in the Mortal Instruments, or one of them. But I definitely feel like this is just very nostalgic, and I really enjoyed the series. Not my favorite characters, but it's fun being in the world and seeing, like, how far the story has come. So, definitely enjoyed my read of this. I also got 72% of the way through Serpent and the Wings of Night, and when I tell you I am obsessed with this book, I mean it. Like, I am obsessed with it. It is so fucking good. It is everything that I love in a fantasy romance. I was afraid going into it that it would feel kind of YA compared to her other book, just because it's more fast-paced and it's about vampires, and my mind automatically lumps in YA with vampires, but it does not feel that way at all. The writing is absolutely spectacular. I think if you enjoyed Carissa Broadbent's other book, this one right here, you will enjoy this one. Or if you kind of enjoyed it but you wish it was a little bit more fast-paced, then you will definitely enjoy this one. It is, like I said, about vampires. She's a human and she enters into a competition to get a wish from the goddess that made all the vampires. She teams up with some maid vampires and she has a romance with one of them, and it's absolutely delightful. It's very slow burn. They've had minimal romantic interactions thus far, and I think her character work is always just very strong. I love the things that she does with her characters and the believability of their personalities. Like, I find especially with vampires and humans, where the main character is a human, it's hard to really understand the main character's personality or view them as characters that are humans in a vampire world, if that makes sense. Like, they tend to be either very flat or they're just like happy-go-lucky, not your average girl sort of personality, whereas the main character in this one is very much like scared all the time. You can tell, has had to just survive and not really been able to enjoy her life and not had the opportunities that everybody else has had, and she's had to just survive. And you can tell by her personality and how she reacts to situations that is sort of the mentality she's had her whole life, which is, like I said, the character work is just very well done, and I'm really, really enjoying it. It's probably going to be a 5-star, and I might continue the series. I think right now, I think my plan is to finish all my unread books, and then when I get KU again, to go through and finish all the series that I haven't finished, which is quite a bit. But I did my spinner wheel, and it got me The Three Musketeers. Well, actually, it got me City of Thorns, but since I'm currently rereading the entire series, I'm going to get to that book eventually, and it's just going to take me a while, so I'm probably going to read that in tandem with other things. But I rolled again and got The Three Musketeers, and this will probably also be read in tandem with other things because it's a classic and it is quite long and it is quite dense. I've read, I think, 70 pages of this before, and while it is more accessible than some classics, it's not the easiest thing in the world to read, but I do want to read it. So that's what I'm currently reading, and we will pick up with where I have gotten in next week's vlog. But I really hope you enjoyed this one. I hope you enjoyed spending the week with me, and I hope you had a lovely week. I would love to hear down in the comments how your week was, if you have thoughts on anything that I read, and if you don't have anything to say, leave a vampire emoji down in the comments. Thank you so much for watching. You can find me on Instagram and on Goodreads, and I will catch you guys in my next one. Don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already.